Historic day at Eden Gardens, Kolkata, as Virat Kohli stepped up to the crease on December 24th, 2009 against Sri Lanka. With his smooth strokes and unyielding focus, the young cricketer reached his first ODI century with an elegant 107. That knock was more than just 100, it was the beginning of an extraordinary career. The crowd at Eden Gardens cheered as Kohli announced his arrival on the world stage. Only a few weeks later, on January 11th, 2010, Kohli continued to build on his promise, scoring his second century, a match-winning 102 star against Bangladesh at Sri Lanka Stadium in Dhaka. He remained calm under pressure, guiding India to victory in a thrilling chase, showing that his debut century was no fluke. By October 20th, 2010, against Australia in Visakhapatnam, Kohli was already being hailed as India's future. His third century, a blazing 118, saw him dismantling the Aussie attack with an impressive combination of aggression and finesse. The cricketing world started to take notice of this rising star, now becoming a key player in the Indian lineup. Barely a month later, on November 28, 2010, Kohli notched up his fourth century, scoring 105 against New Zealand in Guwahati. His maturity at the crease shone through as he batted against different bowling attacks, proving his adaptability and skill. In the 2011 World Cup, Kohli's composure was on full display when he hit 100 against Bangladesh in Dhaka on February 19, 2011, marking his fifth ODI century. His calm and collected approach ensured India's dominance in the opening match of the tournament. September 16, 2011 saw Kohli crafting another memorable innings with 107 against England at Sophia Gardens, Cardiff. It was his sixth century where his energy, passion and skill came together in a performance that highlighted his growing stature in world cricket. Less than a month later, Kohli produced another masterclass with an unbeaten 112 not out against England at Feroz Shah Kotla on October 17, 2011, securing his seventh century. His ability to dominate the bowlers underlined why he was becoming a linchpin in India's batting order. The fireworks continued on December 2, 2011, as Kohli scored 117 against the West Indies in Visakhapatnam, marking his eighth ODI century. His strategic aggression, perfectly timed strokes and hunger for runs led India to another victory. On February 28, 2012, Kohli's knock of 133 against Sri Lanka at Hobart was one of the most remarkable innings of his career. He led India in a thrilling chase with a combination of calculated risk and brutal hitting. This was his ninth ODI century, and it left fans and pundits alike in awe. Just a couple of weeks later, on March 13, 2012, Kohli reached his 10th century with 108 runs against Sri Lanka in Dhaka. His dominance over the bowlers was on the monumental innings on March 18, 2012, when Kohli obliterated Pakistan with a breathtaking 183 at Sri Lanka Stadium. His 11th century was nothing short of iconic, and it is still regarded as one of the finest ODI innings ever played. The centuries kept coming as Kohli scored 106 against Sri Lanka on July 21, 2012 in Hambantota, marking his 12th century. Then, just 10 days later, on July 31st, 2012, he scored 128 against Sri Lanka at R. Premadasa Stadium, Colombo, and registered 13th century. His masterful display added another chapter to his growing legacy. By July 5th, 2013, Kohli continued his scoring spree with 102 runs against the West Indies in Port of Spain, marking his 14th ODI century. His consistency and flair kept the scoreboard ticking. He returned to Harare on July 24, 2013 to score 115 against Zimbabwe. Kohli's calmness under pressure marked his 15th ODI century, further establishing him as a backbone of the Indian batting lineup. By October 16, 2013, Kohli had firmly established himself as a match winner. He struck 100 against Australia in Jaipur, securing his 13th century. His aggressive style continued to evolve, and just 2 weeks later, on October 30th, 2013, Kohli hit 115 against Australia in Nagpur, marking his 17th century. His 18th century came on January 19, 2014, against New Zealand in Napier with a remarkable 123 runs. Kohli's ability to score quickly and efficiently became a hallmark of his game. Fast forward to February 26, 2014, Kohli played a stunning knock of 136 against Bangladesh in Fatullah, achieving his 19th century. His growing reputation as one of the world's best finishers was on full display once again. Kohli continued his scoring spree with 127 against the West Indies on October 17, 2014 in Dharamshala, reaching his 20th century, and then hit 139 against Sri Lanka at Ranchi on November 16, 2014, earning his 21st century. On February 15, 2015, Kohli smashed 107 against Pakistan in Adelaide, his 22nd century, a knock that came on the biggest of stages, the ICC World Cup, and was pivotal in India's win over their arch-rivals. By October 22, 2015, Kohli added yet another century, 138 against South Africa in Chennai, marking his 23rd century, as he continued to show why he was the backbone of India's batting. Kohli's stellar form continued in 2015, and on January 17, 2016, he scored an exquisite 117 against Australia at Melbourne Cricket Ground. This 24th century was special as it came on Australian soil, a place where every run is hard-earned. Kohli's ability to thrive in challenging conditions was once again in the spotlight. Just 3 days later, on January 20th, 2016, Kohli crafted another century with 106 against Australia in Canberra, marking his 25th ODI century. His consistency was unparalleled, and he was now the focal point of India's middle order. The next big knock came on October 23, 2016, when Kohli, with his sheer class and composure, scored an unbeaten 154 against New Zealand in Mohali. This 26th century was an exhibition of perfect timing and placement, leaving the opposition in disarray. By January 15, 2017, Kohli had cemented his place as one of the finest chasers in the game. In a high-pressure chase against England, he delivered yet again with a superb 122 in Pune. His 27th ODI century reaffirmed his status as the man to watch in any run chase. On July 6, 2017, Kohli's journey took him to Kingston, where he produced a composed 111 against the West Indies, notching up his 28th ODI century. This innings was a masterclass in pacing an innings and controlling the game from the middle. The very next month, on August 31st, 2017, Kohli's rich vein of form continued as he smashed 131 against Sri Lanka in Colombo. This 29th century came with a sense of inevitability, with Kohli dominating the bowlers like only he could. Just 3 days later, on September 3rd, 2017, Kohli added yet another ton to his tally with 110 against Sri Lanka in Colombo. His 30th century was a display of pure class as he made batting look effortless against a hapless bowling attack. Kohli's next masterpiece came on October 22nd, 2017, when he hit an elegant 121 against New Zealand in Mumbai, marking his 31st century. His balance and poise at the crease were a testament to his dedication and skill. By October 29th, 2017, Kohli continued his phenomenal form with 113 against New Zealand in Kanpur, securing his 32nd ODI century. His ability to repeatedly deliver on big occasions had by now made him a legend in the making. In 2018, Kohli further stamped his authority on the game with a dazzling 112 against South Africa in Durban on February 1st, reaching his 33rd ODI century. His poise and precision underlined his dominance in world cricket. Just 6 days later, on February 7th, 2018, Kohli produced one of his finest innings with an unforgettable 160 against South Africa in Cape Town, marking his 34th century. This knock was a perfect blend of aggression and tactical brilliance, leaving the opposition bowlers in tatters. On February 16th, 2018, Kohli notched up his 35th century with 129 against South Africa in Centurion, solidifying his status as one of the greatest ODI players of all time. His ability to finish games and carry India home had become legendary. As 2018 continued, Kohli scored 140 against the West Indies in Guwahati on October 21st, marking his 36th century. His aggression and flair were on full display as he took apart the West Indian bowling with surgical precision. 3 days later, on October 24, 2018, Kohli struck a scintillating 157 against the West Indies in Visakhapatnam, securing his 37th century. His hunger for runs seemed insatiable as he continued to scale new heights. On October 27, 2018, Kohli was back at it, with a sublime 107 against the West Indies in Pune, marking his 38th century. This century, like many before it, was filled with grace, power, and sheer determination. Fast forward to January 15, 2019, Kohli scored 104 against Australia in Adelaide, marking his 39th century. His ability to rise in crucial moments was once again evident as he led India to a famous win. Kohli's brilliance continued with 116 against Australia in Nagpur on March 5, 2019, marking his 40th century. He followed that up with a sparkling 123 against Australia in Ranchi on March 8, 2019, making his 41st ODI century a masterclass in batting under pressure. On August 11, 2019, Kohli added another to his tally with 120 against the West Indies in Port of Spain, securing his 42nd century. Just 3 days later, on August 14, 2019, he scored 114 against the West Indies, notching up his 43rd century. It was a long wait before Kohli scored his next century, but on December 10, 2022, he hit 113 against Bangladesh in Chattogram, marking his 44th century. It was a comeback of sorts, reminding the world of his enduring class. Just a month later, on January 10, 2023, Kohli produced another magnificent innings with 113 against Sri Lanka in Guwahati, securing his 45th ODI century. 5 days later, on January 15, 2023, he lit up the ground with a breathtaking 166 against Sri Lanka in Thiruvananthapuram, marking his 46th century. Kohli's form continued as he scored 122 against Pakistan in Colombo on September 11, 2023, reaching his 47th century. His calmness under pressure and unmatched batting ability shone through in this fierce encounter. On October 19, 2023, Kohli hit yet another milestone, scoring 103 against Bangladesh in Pune to reach his 48th century. His performance was a reminder of his consistency and brilliance in the ODI format. Just a few weeks later, on November 5, 2023, Kohli brought up his 49th century with a stunning 101 against South Africa at Eden Gardens. This knock brought him back to where it all began, Kolkata, where his journey had started. Finally, on November 15, 2023, Kohli scored his 50th ODI century, a magnificent 117 against New Zealand at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. It was a momentous occasion, and fittingly, Kohli reached this milestone at home in front of a packed crowd, cementing his legacy as one of the greatest batsmen in cricket history.